Hi, I'm Carol Fabricatori. I'm 64 years old, retired systems analyst, and married to a great guy for the last 28 years. We each have one daughter from previous marriages, 4 grandchildren, and a large extended family here in San Diego County. My life really changed and my cancer journey began on September 19th, 2011. I had been fortunate to enjoy good health my whole life. I rarely got sick, I exercised regularly, and I ate mostly healthy. So when I first started having unusual symptoms, I really didn't think there could be anything wrong and had no idea the symptoms might all be related. There was some cancer history in my family though. We believe my paternal grandmother died from breast cancer, but they didn't talk about those things back then. My mother was diagnosed with colon cancer at 45. Unfortunately, it was caught early enough and surgery took care of it. So I made sure I got a colonoscopy when my doctor recommended it, and I was very relieved that test came back clear. But until my own diagnosis of ovarian cancer, I had no idea that a family history of colon or breast cancer put me at a higher risk for ovarian cancer. My symptoms began around December 2010, but I blamed them on being out of my exercise routine for a 3-month temp job that I had just completed. At first, I just felt bloated and I had gained a few pounds, so I decided I just needed to ramp up my exercise. The start of the new year was also time for my annual mammogram and another colonoscopy, so when those tests came back clear, I felt I was good to go. But the next month, I noticed a pain in my right side. I thought I'd pulled a muscle in the exercise class, a PIO class that I had just started. So I ignored it for several weeks, assuming it would go away. When it didn't, I emailed my primary doctor and she suggested a CT scan, but my concern for radiation exposure led us to schedule an ultrasound of my side instead. I also began having some urinary issues and was tested for a possible UTI, but both tests found nothing, so it seemed I had nothing to worry about. Several things kept me distracted over the next couple of months, but that nagging pain never really went away, and I was still a little bloated and feeling real full before I'd finished my meal, and I really like to eat. So I never thought any of these symptoms were related, as I said, but because something still just didn't feel right, I decided to get that CT scan that my doctor had recommended. The scan found a small tumor near my colon, but my doctor still didn't think it was anything to be too concerned about. But just to be sure, 2 more tests were done and to get a better look and take a biopsy. I really wasn't worried because besides those minor symptoms, I felt great and I was looking forward to an upcoming vacation the following week. My doctor knew we had plans to go out of town, so she called as soon as she got the biopsy results. It was the night before we were to fly out of San Diego, and I was expecting good news, so I was real surprised when I heard that word malignant and then ovarian. I tried to think quickly what questions to ask. I couldn't remember what I'd once read about ovarian cancer. Was it the bad one? My doctor sidestepped that question and then just explained that I'd be getting a call from the gynecologic oncologist's office to schedule an appointment. All I could think to ask next was, can I still take my trip? She agreed it would be okay since I could still schedule my appointments via my cell phone and I'd only be gone 5 nights. But I had to beg my husband to keep our plans. He thought we needed to cancel. But I'm so glad we went. I was afraid I may not have another chance, and for me, Glacier National Park was just a wonderful way to be distracted by so much of nature's beauty while I was settling into my new reality. I later met with my new gynecologic oncologist soon after our return, and my surgery was scheduled. But what I remember most about that first visit with my surgeon is that after he was finished with all the explanations of my anticipated surgery and treatment, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "You can beat this." I can't tell you how much those words meant to me. He must have known by the look on my face that I needed a little more confidence in facing this battle, and what he gave me was hope. My surgery was twice as long as expected, making my otherwise calm husband a nervous wreck. The cancer had spread more than they initially thought, so a little more surgery was required. I was just happy to wake up in the recovery room. 5 months later, I finished my chemo and had lost every single hair on my body, but I have to admit that I'd actually come to appreciate months of no shaving or hair to mess with, and I was really excited to be in remission and hoping to stay there for a very long time. I was also able to enjoy 8 to 9 months of remission, or dancing with Ned as we like to call it, no evidence of disease. But for me, staying in remission has been the real challenge. I'm currently in treatment for my 3rd recurrence since I completed the first round in 2012. Fortunately, my hair had some time to grow back, and the subsequent chemo drugs for the recurrences have only caused thinning. But this last recurrence has been more challenging. I began treatment in December 2014, but had a bad reaction to the first drug after only 3 treatments. And the next one we tried, although it was well tolerated, it just seemed to stabilize the growth, but didn't put me back in remission. The 3rd drug started moving my test numbers in the right direction for the first 2 to 3 months, but my last test told it was time to try something else again. So I've started another new chemo regimen and hoping this one finally works to put me into remission for a while with a nice break from chemo. Recurrences like mine are not that unusual for someone diagnosed in late stage 3 or 4. Some of us are considered chronic, while others may enjoy years and years of remission. But as my husband says, we'll just keep tackling each hurdle as we need to while we wait and hope for new and better treatment options coming in the future. In hindsight, I always wonder if I had gone with my primary doctor's first recommendation to get a scan, would I have been diagnosed sooner? I'll never know, but the lesson here is pay attention to your bodies, and if something isn't right for more than a couple of weeks, see your doctor and tell them everything that is out of the ordinary for you, even if you don't think those symptoms could be related. And for me now, yes, I'm still fighting the battle, but as a stage 4 cancer survivor, the silver lining in my cancer journey has been being able to participate in raising awareness of this disease and meeting so many amazing women. We've also lost many survivor friends along the way too, but that just keeps us wanting to spread the word even more in hopes of an earlier diagnosis for others that might help save their lives. So please share what you've learned today with the women in your life, and thank you for listening to me today.